Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 707th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have Bethany Stockenfeld. She is a returning guest from a couple years ago. She is the founder of SendSpark, and it's a way to send emails, personalized emails at scale, video emails. So let me get that video over email, right? You can embed it into the tools that you have. You can send it through them. So she's just cool. I've known her now for several years, following her on social media, seeing her come out with new things. We talk about her growth, which has been sizable. And, despite the chaos, right, over the last several years, all the crazy stuff with COVID, Ukraine war, Israel, Gaza, the election, on and on and on, inflation, and she's growing. So we rehashed some old things, but I wanted to know what the heck was going on. How is she growing? How is she doing it? What's working? What isn't? And she answered the questions. So super cool. She just moved to Austin. So maybe I can meet her one day. I go down, see my mom. We shall see. I've met people like that several times. So you're in for a treat, okay? The 12 Weeks to Peak program, still going on. 12weekstopeak.com. It's free to join. Habit tracker, private group. Avail yourself of this if you need to customize it, if you want some private assistance, if you want me to lead your team through that, hit me up. Let's talk about it, okay? I'll be happy to help y'all grow. But with that, avail yourself of those tools. Now let's get on with the interview, Bethany. Bethany, back in the house from episode 573, back in August of 22. You're now in Austin, keeping Austin weird, right? Is that what you're doing?
My best.
All right. Co-founder and CEO of SendSpark. Welcome back to the Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
I'm great. And what number am I now? I got to ask. So if I started at 573, how many do you?
You're number one.
Thanks.
So this will be, let me scroll down. You will be episode 708.
Nice. It's a lot of episodes you've been recording.
Yeah, I got about 53 on a technology podcast. So been doing it for a minute. So you just moved to Austin. Is it freezing there?
It is.
My mom's in Bastrop. My sister's in Dallas. They are miserable. I got the doors open at 74 degrees. You should come to California.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, it was like 29 this morning. I walked to work and it was just like shivering.
Hope you didn't walk far.
Not that far.
All right. Are you downtown?
Kind of. I have an office out of the WeWork down here and I live like to the east. So it's like a mile walk. It's like a nice.
It's a long walk. It's 29 degrees.
It was cold. Yeah.
People don't understand. They don't think the South gets cold, but when it's 29 degrees and it's humid like it is, it's a bitter cold.
Yeah. And we're not used to it, It's not like I got clothes.
Yeah,
out.
I mean, we're not. I grew up in the South and lived in Austin and, stationed in Colorado. Well, I was at the Air Force Academy and, and it's they talk about a dry heat. It's a dry cold. It could be 29 degrees, but if the wind wasn't blowing, like you just have a light jacket. We would snow ski so many times, obviously in the spring, but it'd still be cold enough. You still have snow and t-shirt, ball cap, like no sweat. But, oh well. I changed my camera around. There's a meteorology degree right there. So, I'm qualified to talk about the weather. So
nice. That's something.
There you go.
Say, a lot of people talk about the weather, but few can say they actually have a good opinion on it.
I actually know what I'm talking about, but I digress. So SendSpark, you're sending videos over email, right? Is that what you do? Like, what's the big deal? Why should we even care about that? That's 2.5 years ago. That's old technology, man. It's all AI these days.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So, if you want to send a video over email, there's a lot of ways to do it. But if you want to send 100, 1,000, 10,000 videos, that's when stuff gets tricky. And we can help you take that one video and personalize it at scale with AI and then send it out in bulk and land in the inbox and increase conversions. So that's our stick.
Yeah. So I'm linking over to your 573, but people are lazy. They may not want to go watch that one. But because you talk about at scale, right? So some may be familiar with like a bomb or something like that, right? So why are you better or different? You know, because they've been around a long time.
Yeah.
What are you bringing to the table?
Well, with BombBomb, you're recording individual videos for every person. So I could create one like, "Hi Wes, I'm reaching out because XYZ," and I can create that video and send it to you. And BombBomb's gonna let you do that, and it's gonna be great. But the challenge is when you're doing that multiple times a day. And I was talking about the thousands, but even when you just do like 5 times, like if you just recorded a video and all you're really doing is changing the name because you're sending a similar video to a group of people, like you want to share a product update with a bunch of people, like you're going to be sharing most of the same video. You're just personalizing it for each person. So you can think of SendSpark is like BombBomb if there were dynamic variables, and you can take that first name and make it dynamic. And so every person you send it to is going to hear their own first name. So it can save a ton of time. You're still going to see the great results of video. You're still going to be able to like have a really nice video in your message and get those conversion rates and everything. But it's a huge time saver, and it really just unlocks video in a way you wouldn't have been able to do it if you had to manually create a video for every single person.
Do people know that it's an AI personalization, or does it look and feel really authentic?
It's pretty similar. It's pretty authentic because with some companies right now, like they're creating your entire video with AI. And that's when like stuff starts getting weird because, it's bopping. It's like on a loop. But with us, we're just changing out variables. So it's really hard to tell. Like, I'm sure if you looked hard enough, you would be able to find it. It kind of makes you question, like, what is real anyways? You're like really digging in. But most people, like, no one's really told us they sent it to people, and people found out. Like, most time people are like, oh, this is super impressive. I just got off a call with a customer earlier who's in an older space. I'm forgetting what it is now. I think it's like, heavily related to the military. And he was saying like a bunch of people were, like responded like, oh, I love your fancy video. And it's like people, the responses are great. And that, that's really the point.
So like I have HubSpot, I have Keep, Fusionsoft. Do I make the video and embed it into those, or does SendSpark become like my email deliverability or my email platform?
You'd embed it in a different platform. So we work with HubSpot, Outreach, SalesOft, Instantly, like we try to work with all of them. Keep learning about new ones every day, to be honest, but we do our best to integrate with all the email platforms.
Okay. So, but I would make it on your platform, then embed it and hit send on any of the major email platforms.
Yeah, and we give you exactly, and we'll give you like a little share snippet, so you can take the video from SendSpark and then you paste like a placeholder in HubSpot or whatever platform you're using, and that way you're just pasting it in once, but you could send it out to a list of people, and everyone's going to get the video personalized for them.
Right, cool. And so, is there a recommendation like on video length? Is this more of like a quick intro, like to try to get a meeting, or would I send like a long demo and this just lets me personalize like the greeting and the conclusion?
It could be either. I mean, a lot of people are using it for prospecting, in which case like shorter is better. Like the more you say, the more reason you're giving someone to not want to meet with you, to be honest. So for those kinds of things, we recommend short, and the messages are like 30 seconds. But a big use case for us and our customers is also more like customer success or onboarding. And in that case, like you actually might want to send a 5-minute video showing someone how to get started, or, even a 12-minute tutorial. And you might not even use the AI there, to be honest, or maybe just have it at the beginning. But it really just depends on what you're trying to convey. And our goal is just to help you. If you want to if you want to send videos in an automated way, like at scale in an automated way, then we want to help, but we're not going to like limit you on length. If there's a use case where you should be creating a longer video.
So like customer success and onboarding, do you have any kind of data on, like, is it better to send it as a SendSpark versus say I've got a Vimeo account, or, even an unlisted YouTube video and it's it's a quick tutorial. It's a 5-minute training on logging in or something. Are you seeing metrics around, like, because it's embedded? Is it better utilization, better uptake, anything like that?
So it is better. A lot of people don't care though. Like, right. So let me think about a real example, because there might be a time where you could have a video on SunSpark or on Vimeo, right? And it's either personalized or unpersonalized. There's often times you're like, I don't really care. I'm just going to send this video. It doesn't need to say their name. It's helpful. And you might just want to do that because you're lazy and it doesn't matter that much. But it could matter, like another situation. For example, we work with this company that does like travel nurse training, and then they'll match the travel nurses. And so for them, they have really high turnover. And so like onboarding employees even is super important, that they sit there, they watch, they feel special. Like that makes a huge difference in their retention, and they need to like really do that well. And so for them, it's worth it. And they're like, no, we're not just going to send, even though it's an internal email, then, they're onboarding like hundreds of nurses a week. For them, it is worth it to do it personalized and make people feel really good and included. But there's also other times when you're like, I have a training video and they need to get trained, so I'm just going to send it. Even in our emails, like I'm saying that, but like if you get our onboarding emails, sometimes we're like saying your name, we're really trying to make sure you get it. And other times we're like, hey, did you know about this feature? Like, here's a video about it. And it's just fine.
Right.
You don't have to personalize everything to everyone all the time.
Yeah, true. How has it been? So it's been 2.5 years since we talked.
Yeah.
You moved cities, you moved states. Did you move the company, or did you move?
Really just me. Sorry, I'm trying to like close some stuff to make sure that it's not lagging. So I moved myself. The company's remote, so like now it doesn't matter. I've been moving around a little bit, but most people are staying in one place.
How has it been growing a company in these last 2.5 years, right? I mean, COVID was still kind of a thing when we last spoke. I mean, It was kind of winding down. You went through the election. I mean, that's chaotic times. Nobody knows who's going to win. Markets can kind of stagnate. People are like, well, I'm just waiting to see. Kind of like Christmas. Well, call me after the holidays. It's like, call me after the election. Oh, crap. Obviously, we know who won. We're into the new year. Like, are things good? Are they bad? Like, is it hard to get people? Is it easy to get people? Like, how has it been these last 2.5 years growing a company?
So for us, it's been good. And my takeaway for that is that I think when there's a lot of volatility and everything's like shake, 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 that actually can help the early stage companies the most. Because early stage companies are able to like change a lot faster. Like our industry got hit really hard with layoffs about 2 maybe 1.5 years ago in sales. And so for the bigger companies who had seat-based pricing, that hit is like massive churn. And they had a lot of trouble adjusting, and and just bigger contracts, like more to be upset. But for us, like we were kind of able to switch to a combination of seat-based pricing and usage-based pricing, and also see that companies are trying to be more efficient. And so we're, kind of able to undercut at better prices and get in. Also, there's been a huge adoption of AI tools. So we've really been able to add more AI and capitalize on that. So I think that like, it's definitely been a chaotic time, and my stress levels show it. I think I've had 2 ulcers in the last year, which I think something I need to figure out. But for the business, it's been really beneficial. And I think that's like, the nice thing about, startups have very few advantages, but that's one of them.
Yeah. Have you grown the team? Or is it you maintain headcount and just like trying to get more efficient?
Well, for us, we've grown a decent amount. I mean, we're still a small team. I think we're 20 people right now, but we were probably like less than eight last time we spoke. So,
okay. Yeah, that's good growth.
And we're trying to keep this size. Like, I like our team size. Everyone knows everyone. We're able to get a lot done very quickly. There aren't so many layers. So I think 20 is like a really good sweet spot. Definitely getting a lot more done than we got with 8, but, we're not quite so big enough that things are bureaucratic.
Yeah. What is working? How do you get the word out?
we're doing a lot of everything, to be honest. Like, I mean, we're doing a lot of email, a lot of video, of course. We're also doing like webinars, social, YouTube. What else is there? We're not doing ads. That's probably the one. And we're not doing SEO anymore. That's a change. And I used to love SEO. I was a marketer, right? Like, I'm all SEO. But we were just having trouble when like, I guess it was a while ago now, and like ChatGPT started becoming more of a thing, and just all these AI articles came out, and we're like, we could either spend a lot of time in this, like figuring out how to do it right, or just do other things. So we totally dropped it. Probably need to pick it up again, to be honest. But yeah, just a lot of, and honestly, like we do a lot of outbound. It works really well. Just nothing like sending an email, and we do a lot more cold calls than we used to too. Like I think those are either working better, or we've just kind of accepted that they're a necessary evil and we're doing them.
So are you doing cold email?
Cold email and warm email. So we'll also do like, we'll try to do like events or other things to like warm people up and then reach out to people based on those, but you can't always do that. So a lot of it's just cold.
Where do you get lists? If you're cold calling, are you using just the regular tools like the Apollos and whatnot, or LinkedIn Navigator? And do people answer their phones?
We're using Play a lot to get leads, to get data. And so we'll try to have a good reason to get that data. So we'll like do lookalikes. We'll be like, this is a really good customer. Let's look up people who look like them. And then we'll enrich the email and phone. Are people picking up? I mean, definitely not everyone, but some people do. And that's good. I also will just text people from my phone a lot. Like if I'm doing it, then I'll text, which I think can be, you can't really like automate that at scale because people aren't opting in, but I'll like personally just text people and those get good response.
So that'll be like your first contact with someone will be a text?
Usually if I'm texting, they've done something, like they've signed up. And or maybe they signed up but they didn't like pay or something like that, and I'll be like, hey, you checking this out? Anything you can help with?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't done a cold text. I think. I feel like that's a little invasive. I mean, we do a lot of things. Like we're doing a lot of outreach. But like,
yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty bold. It's a bold move, Cotton.
The best thing that I was impressed with was I got a cold text from someone. We had a bug. This was like 6 months ago. We had a bug, and someone texted me and said, hey, I'm trying to upgrade, but like I can't, like SenseSpark's not working. I was like, who are you? And he's like, oh, you don't know me yet, but I'm very good at sales and I found your phone number. Can you help me? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we, I big talked to my team.
Well,
we got him upgraded.
Well, that makes sense. And I've done similar things. So but yeah, I haven't done cold texting. So I'm going, because you got to be careful with that. That is super. I mean, literally 2 times a day, probably at least once a day, 10, 15 times a week. I get these cold spam texts. Hi, I'm thinking of you. Or the last couple days.
Yeah. I get those too. Pictures of women. I'm like, guys, it's not.
Well, it's not even pictures of women. It's just, but yeah. Hey, is this Lisa? This is Laura. Oh my gosh, Laura from New York. You remember me? I used to mess with them and go along with it for a while. But I'm just, report as junk and block.
I'm scared. I'm like,
there's so many, like, and they're coming from overseas because it's huge penalties to get those, but people, they don't care. They just hit them. But it's cool to hear the outbound's working. I've toned it down as well. Like on content, I'm doing more video, really starting to go heavy into YouTube and longer content, and then sharing it, far and wide.
Yeah.
Video seems to be king right now, and cold email. Like I've always been against it, but man, I might dabble in it. It's everywhere, and people are kind of coming to accept it. And I guess as long as it's good, because it's funny, like I have no problem mailing a direct response letter, so it's like, why have we always looked at email, spammer? Like you get a piece of mail, you just throw it away, from your mailbox. You don't get mad at them. So
I think you also got to remember when you send out like 100 emails, probably a couple of people are going to say, stop spamming me. and you'll feel a little bad, but probably a couple other ones will be like, yeah, tell me more. And most people will just ignore it. So, but I mean, the way I think about it is we don't send out super long sequences. Like I remember hearing before, it was like, you always need like 11 touch sequences. And it's like, you just go. And I'm like, you know what? We don't need to do that. But like, we'll do mini sequences, or maybe it's 1 and a follow-up, or like 3 max. And if they don't respond, that's fine. But they are going to be on our list probably in 3 to 6 months from now. But it's just about like, I don't feel bad reaching out to anyone, but I do feel bad if I'm sending another one and another one, another one. It's all the same. That's when I think you get spammy. But if you can do short, good messages, and for some people, you're helping them because they're going to love your product. So you got to think about it that way. It's not about spamming people. It's about showing them how wonderful their lives could be if they embraced your product.
Well, for sure. And, and from a legal standpoint, it's almost impossible to send true spam B2B. Because if you have a valid offer, if the subject line matches the body, and what you're selling is legally, morally, ethically, allowed, you have your contact information and a way to opt out, then legally that is not spam.
Yeah.
Now,
it's like you're fishing. Like it's nothing unethical.
Yeah, so it's like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? And so they can report it, but it's legally, it's not spam. And so that's why I don't feel bad about it. But it's like so many, most of the email big ESPs don't allow you to mail a cold list. So that's just how I grew up. I got into this in 2008, and it's just like, we never did it. So, but there's viable ways, and I'm putting some things in place to test it. And I've helped clients do it.
Yeah.
But something you may want to touch on, doing some ads, some retargeting, right? If they click your link, show them a few ads on Instagram or Facebook. And
yeah, we definitely should. Yeah.
Because I noticed,
like, so cheap.
Just my own, buying style. I try to practice what I preach, right? And I always tell people, take notice of what you take notice of.
Yeah.
Right? So something gets your attention, like take a step back and say, why did I get my attention? Am I in the demographic of my clients and prospects? So might this get their attention as well? And there's one guy I've been kind of binging on his stuff, and life's just been busy. I've been sick. I had surgery at the end of last year. Then just, the flu and cough, 3.5, 4 weeks. My mother-in-law has had some severe health issues. So things were a little upside down for us.
Yeah.
And so I saw this guy's stuff. I liked it. I requested one of his things, and then I didn't open the thing for a week, and I didn't apply. It was just like a free template for an email. And I'm like, okay, I'll try that. I liked it. I like his approach. And, it took me a week to open it. It took me a week or more to apply it. Now I'm loving it. I'm following him, and so, because I'd asked, there's a gal that I'm in one of her classes on advertising, and I noticed, like, I keep seeing her ads, and I asked in the group, why do I keep seeing your ads? Wouldn't you want to turn it off? Since I'm already a customer? And, she had a good point. It's like, she wants the engagement. She wants the comments.
Oh, that's a good point. I love that.
And I'm like, yeah, I am doing that. I will like it. And I do comment because I like what she's doing. So that just deepens it, because I'm seeing on other ads now. I mean, some of these ads, they may be 3-4 months old or more. And you're seeing comments 11 weeks old, 6 months. So if it's a good ad, you want to keep running. And as people are commenting, it builds up engagement. And so it's like, okay. And because that's another thing, like I've never had to really dive into ads. And so I'm peeling that all back and figuring it out. Got a couple of little samples, little trials that I'm running. And a friend of mine's helping me. And because again, I'm looking like, how am I consuming?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing good ads and I'm engaging with them. So I'm like, okay, I'm not hanging out on somebody's blog and reading a 2,000 word article.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
and
know?
like people are saying just SEO's dead because you're getting your answers in the chat GPT summary at the top of the page. Like, so you can't necessarily do the same content strategy
Yeah.
that we're looking for. But that's so smart to kind of target your existing customers first, so they engage with your ads and add credibility, and then you run those to other people like that. That's consider trying
Yeah.
that.
And video is more king than ever. Video killed the radio star, right? Was that the song?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's happening now. But I mean, it's cool that you're growing. I like that. I like what I'm hearing. And how long have you had AI as part of your platform? Was that always a differentiator for you, or is it new for y'all?
I think it was new as of January last year, or maybe no. So November the year before. I remember because I was home for Thanksgiving when we started turning it on for some of our earliest customers. So yeah, like what's that? Like a year and maybe 4 months now. But even then, we've had just really one feature to personalize to clone your voice and personalize the content at scale, so you can change names and things like that. But we're about to add some new stuff that I'm excited about as well. So in a way, like I feel like we're an AI company, but we've never used that much AI other than the name personalization. And now we're about to add a lot more that I think just to really help people be successful with a product.
Right. And do your customers have to know AI, or is it all is it under the hood and they just got to follow the instructions?
We assume that you don't know AI. That's our goal, is to make your life easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it simple. Customers, unless you're some bleeding edge tech, if you're for the mainstream, they don't want to learn stuff. They want the results, right? So nobody wants to buy a drill, right? They want a hole in the wall. They want a picture hung and then put the drill away, so that's cool.
And no one wants to buy a drill. No one wants to use a drill. You just want it to work. Like, yeah, 1,000%. So that's and that's actually a lot of the AI we're adding in now is like, it's a lot of it's onboarding related. And it's just to help you, like, all the dots that you would have had to think about, like goals you shouldn't really have to think. You just kind of sign up, click, 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 send, get good results. That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. How do you determine pricing? So it's been over 2 years since we spoke. Have you raised prices in that time? Do you grandfather people in? Like, do they get the same price forever? Like, how do you figure that out?
Well, it's funny because I would say we like rarely affect pricing, but our CTO just made a joke that I'm always changing pricing. So it's somewhere in the middle. I'm totally doing it more than
Do you change pricing for past customers?
We never changed pricing for past customers.
Okay.
I just think because we want to run a lot of tests, we want to learn, and I want our customers to trust us. So whatever you sign up on, that'll be your plan. Maybe not forever. I mean, at some point we'll probably raise prices, but I don't want it to be an experiment. I want to know what really makes sense. And I think the only way to really know is to do different experiments. So we'll do different things around it. And we usually I don't think we've ever really lowered pricing. It's always going up. So that way also our earlier customers are kind of getting a good deal, which like you feel good about. Like I noticed there was some account that's been in there and their whole team's on board and they're paying $60 a month, which is low for their size. Yeah. Like, and what they're doing. But I'm like, dude, they were a first customer. Like they were a case study to get more. Yeah. It's like, it's cool when your early people get something special. So, and that they're still with us now, like 5 years later, like that's great.
Yeah, for sure. And man, I've seen this. Like I've been an Infusionsoft partner for 17 years, and they didn't raise their prices for a long time, and then they did, and it was like, oh wow! But they kept original. They only raised it like for new people, but then like back to back to back, they had price increases like for everybody, and that didn't go over well. And then like HubSpot for the longest time, I've been with them over 10 years, and they kept prices the same, but not anymore. They will raise prices. Now, to their credit, they'll raise, if they do a 20% increase, let's say for the general public, they may do a 10% increase for existing customers, but it's still going up.
Features, like I feel like our HubSpot bills are always going up, but like they'll add new features and then we're like, yeah, we kind of want that. So pay a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, golly, they're good at, it's like you go out to eat, and the restaurant gives you everything, all the seasoning except salt. It's like, so here's your lovely dinner, and $50, and can I have some salt? You're going to buy a subscription. You're going to buy 10 more meals.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you buy 10 meals, the meals are only $49 instead of 50, but they will expire after 6 months. There's no carryover, and we'll bring you some salt right now.
Well,
what?
and I think there's a huge art to that because, like, you definitely, as a company, you want to raise your prices. You want your net revenue retention to be going up over time. But there's a timing to it because there's something so frustrating. I actually got so frustrated with HubSpot about this very thing where we had a renewal, we increased our spend a lot, and then immediately after, like not even a full month, I got hit with a new bill. And I was like, guys, like, I thought what we increased was what we were going to pay. And like, it was like too soon. But if it kind of waited 6 months and I was like, oh, I feel like I got a good deal, and then things are going up, like that's good. And then to give HubSpot credit, I know they test a ton. So I was probably mad. And then they're like, well, that's a negative signal, and use that data and end up, obviously doing amazing. So, and what's cool? I heard from them, I'm going to butcher the number, so don't quote me on this, that what they like to do is raise pricing until they lose 25% of deals to the price is too high. And that's how they know they've priced it right. And I will tell you, I don't think we've ever lost a deal to our price being too high, which means our price is probably too low. So I always think of that as inspiration for raising our pricing. And I don't think.
Well, I don't deal with companies of that size. We're dealing with small business owners, companies your size. To make my point, because I get pushback, like people are afraid. I'd say, like, Bethany, what if you doubled your prices and lost half of your customer? It gets people to think, and of course, there's something to be said for market share and
and net revenue retention. If you're like, well, I have a lot now, but I should see that double in a year, then that's worth it. But you're right, that is 100% way to think about it.
But just from and you have a subscription-based model, blah, blah, blah. But it gets people thinking, I'm like, and I'm not saying you double your prices, but I'm like, did you really lose? So let's say, because I'll deal with insurance clients. I got a lot of people doing stuff, transcriptionists, web design, whatever, and they're busy, 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 busy. I'm like, okay, you're working 100 hours a week. You double your prices, you have half your clients. So now instead of working 100 hours a week, you're working 50. Still too much. But you got more than a week back of time of a normal human, right?
Yeah.
Of a 40-hour work week. You're making just as much money. Now, let's say you take 25 of those hours, which is still too much. You work 75 hours, but now you do 50 hours a week to work for your customers and deliver. You spend 25 hours a week marketing. Where would you be a year from now if you did that, right? Just to get them thinking, okay, yeah. So, and everybody I've had that's raised their prices. That's one guy, I told him he hadn't raised his prices in years. And he's in a unique business and he knows the competition. He's like a subcontractor in all these big projects. He knows everybody's pricing. He knows he's lowest. He knows he's the best. He knows he didn't raise the prices. I'm like, go raise your prices, 20%. He raised them 10%. And nobody quit, right? Nobody canceled it. He's like, yeah, you're right. I should have done more. I'm like, so I totally get what you're saying about HubSpot, and it makes sense. Raise your prices till somebody quits.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a risk to upsetting your current customers, but like at least with new, like you're not even upsetting people.
It could be with new
onboarding.
But he's in a business.
Yeah. Sounds fair.
Everybody had raised their prices. He hadn't raised prices. I mean, and because he's doing service work, it's not a subscription, right?
Yeah. And your time's finite. You can't just have infinite customers.
Exactly. And it's like, he's still way below market. And so he raised prices, nobody quit, but he only raised prices on his standard customers. He's got a lot of them that do like an expedited thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Took him like 6 months, but then he went and raised prices to them. Then after a year, I got him to go back to the others and raise those prices again. And, and he literally had his best year economically, financially, ever. So I just keep pushing him, raise, so great. You got to test things.
Yeah.
you know, and
100%.
you got to look around. And I know it always sounds self-serving, but I'm like, that's why you hire an outsider. Short-term consulting, long-term consulting. You need a neutral third party, right? It's why like your mom or dad, won't operate on you, if they're surgeons, because they can't be detached. You want this neutral third party, unemotional, focus on the task at hand, right? Do my
Yeah.
surgery, heal me, fix me. And you need somebody outside looking in saying, you're bad shit crazy,
Yeah.
right? Raise your prices 50% or you're going to go out of business from life. Blah, 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 blah. So you need somebody kicking your butt in that regard, right?
Mhm.
So, oh well. But yeah, try it, so I'm glad and I'm kind of like you. I mean, it's long-term people. I keep it the same.
Yeah.
I raise it for new people, on my different programs, but like, I don't raise it on the old school folks. I just think I like the loyalty,
Yeah.
I'm loyal to them and they're loyal to me,
And
it's like,
I think you're right. Like, that's the benefit of hiring like a third party consultant. Like, they're going to come in and say, like, raise your prices for everyone. But when it's yours, you're like, well, I like these people. I don't want to. And I think that's like kind of in a way,
and
it's
that's fair though.
yes, but it's a superpower too to care about people.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm all for grandfathering in people,
Mhm.
but it's like we get too caught up, the curse of knowledge,
Yeah.
right? We get too close to our own stuff. It's like, oh, is it really worth that? Someone on the outside, like, you do what? Oh my gosh, I'd pay 3 times that. What? You would? Absolutely. Oh my God. It's like, raise them. Yeah, for new
Well,
people.
yeah, no, 100%. There was one time, like one of our plans on our website is it's the plan price includes like 5 user seats, and I was talking to someone on a sales call, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's a bit expensive, like per user, but let me just calculate it out." And then he like did the math, and he was like, "Okay, actually, that's good." And I'm like, "Damn it, he would have paid 5 times and was listed." 'Cause I was like,
Yeah.
"Actually," and then he was like, "Oh, so yeah."
Well, just for a data point for you, right? When I became a HubSpot or Infusionsoft partner in 2008,
Mhm.
so hit the inflation calculator and see 17 years later, it was $5,000 down and
Yeah,
$299 a month for 5 users. And that was it. That was the only option.
great. Yeah.
So 5,000 down is 12 grand today. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
right? Something like that. And $299 a month. So you can do the math, right? Now, granted, it did a lot more, right? You have a very narrow subset of what you're doing, but you're not charging near that. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of value there. Um, and do you structure things like I always try to bring in deals for folks. If they get one thing, then maybe I can negotiate a discount on something else for somebody else. Almost like referral, like negotiation for them. Have you ever dabbled in that?
I don't know exactly. Like, what we'll often do is if someone from a big company, like we see them kind of come in, and we know that, the company's so big they wouldn't have any buying power themselves. Like, we might offer them like a free discount or extra credit or something to make an intro to someone else. So, we'll do that. But there isn't so much, like, I think we're maybe more on the other side of the spectrum because like our price point is low. It's more like high velocity. But I'm curious what you've done. That sounds interesting.
Well, I always push Infusionsoft to do something like this. And you know who does this? It's T-Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it was funny. We had a little get together yesterday. The family all got together. My mother-in-law's been ill and, they went and got Little Caesars for the kids
Mm-hmm.
and they bought breadsticks and trying to see if I can find it real quick. But T-Mobile, they have their like Giving Tuesdays or something. I don't know. But I think my brother-in-law said, no, you get free breadsticks all with every order
Yeah.
as part of the T-Mobile thing. But like on Tuesdays, so T-Mobile is going out and negotiating deals. Pizza has nothing to do with cell phones,
Yeah.
right? But because they just are trying to bring value, kind of like Amazon, right? Hey, you get your stuff, order stuff. Oh, you can order stuff for free and free shipping.
Yeah.
And you get movies, right? Like what? What does movies have to do with me getting shampoo mailed to my house?
Well,
So they're just trying to add value, right?
Well, and I guess it's very mutual too, because for Little Caesars, it's like also promotion in their apps. It's like, that you get an extra, be like, oh yeah, actually, I do want pizza right now. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't think you get it for free, right? It's like with an order.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah, exactly.
So it brings you in, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm always trying to think of like, can I negotiate a deal for someone? So again, like selling Infusionsoft over the years, that I would compete with other salespeople. So most of the other guys that are partners are coders and developers. So they had a tool set that, maybe an e-commerce plugin or other things, an SEO plugin, because everybody had WordPress back in the day. So they were like, if you order Infusionsoft from me, you'll get this e-commerce plugin. Well, I didn't have that. So I had training, right? And I said, well, I have my Infusionsoft mastermind. So if you buy Infusionsoft from me, you get my mastermind for free.
Yeah.
So just trying to add things, trying to just, they call it value stacking, right? Like when you go to the website, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I love
you
that.
experimented with that or.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something we should do more of. And especially for us, it's not quite as random, but we'll do some stuff with partners too, where especially if we know someone needs an email platform or they need a LinkedIn automation platform, then we will. It's funny because it's not really that formal that we'll just recommend the ones we know we work well at or other people do. But then I'm like, actually have this be a little bit more official and refer companies and have like a special perk for our customers.
Yeah, and I got to imagine if people are coming to you, they already have a CRM and an email tool, right?
Well, you would think, and that's exactly why there is value in us referring it, because you would think, and you often need it, but they don't always have it. And so if you come to us and you don't have a way to send out emails, it's going to be tough to send video emails, right? And so, then we'll refer companies that we just have good, either we have good relationships with or we have so many other users in that platform that we know how to support it. But, we do spy on what people use because they come to us first.
Well, so that's something you could do, right? Let's say you become, a MailChimp partner, and the commission structure. And so just keep it simple. Let's say, it's $100 a month account and you get 10%, so $10. You could always say, $10 off if you order through our MailChimp link, then we'll pass, they're going to pay us a commission, or maybe you split it, right? They're going to pay us $10 a month. We'll reduce your package with us by $5 a month, something like that. It's just, I'm always looking at how to change the equation, right? I don't want to be apples to apples, so if they go look at BombBomb or Bonjoro, or any other tool, they're not going to get that kind of assistance. And even if they don't go with MailChimp, whatever, but I think they'll appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
And say, I'll go with you regardless, because I feel like you're looking out for me,
I might have to wrap up. I just got a call from someone on my team.
We've already gone. Yeah, we're going 55 minutes. This went long.
Yeah. No, great to chat.
So I'm linking out to you, right? Sindspark.com.
I'm
linking out to your ex, not your ex-boyfriend or husband or partner, but Twitter, and your LinkedIn. Anywhere else they should go?
Maybe YouTube as well. We're starting to do more on YouTube, and we're doing good quality videos. Like, we're trying to take some time and have like really good stuff there.
I would expect good quality videos from you. It better be. All right, I'll go grab that too.
Awesome.
All right, good to see you. Have a good night.
Good to see you. Bye.
So, like I said, growing from 8 to 20, rolling out AI, doing outbound. Love it. And maybe I gave her some ideas on ads, Maybe she'll come to me. I've got some good folks with ads, but I've been learning it myself lately. I'm starting to do more. Really haven't had to do much over the years, but dipping my toe in that water, I think it's going to pay off. Interesting. She's shifting away from the SEO. I don't think SEO is dead, but it's changing. It's evolving. People still search the web. Yes, we get answers from ChatGPT and things like that, but there's still good resources out there. You still need to be found. But I think paid traffic is important. Cold, email, cold calling, direct mail, certainly viable. You must enter the conversation going on in the mind of the prospect, right? You must be where they are. You must enter the conversation. You must insert yourself, skate to where the puck is going. So look at where things are going and get ahead of it. AI is here, obviously. Video, I mean, it's still growing. Be on YouTube, be on Vimeo, Facebook's doing some stuff, right? Ripping down the lives, I guess. But create video, share the video. I have you do that in the 12 Weeks to Peak program. I want you writing, and I want you creating content, video content, getting accustomed to being confident when that light goes on. On my Logitech here, it's a white light, typical video when the red light goes on. And people panic when that happens. You need to learn to stay in control. Okay, so 12weekstopeak.com, get the free habit tracker, join the free group, come hang out, hold yourself accountable, ask for support, ways to grow, and I'll help you do it. All right, I hope you like this episode. If you have guests, someone you think would be good, hit me up. I'll check them out. Send them my way. Okay. Thanks for listening or watching. I'll go sell something.